Okay, today I'm going to show you how to use the XMouse button control to use a mouse as a 2-position or 3-position switch. The service for the XMouse button control is shown as running by this icon in the lower right corner of the screen, and this is telling you that the XMouse control is active on your computer. So if you don't see this, you can turn it on by going to your control panel and going to the services, which are under Administrative Tools. Here's Services. And you should see the XMouse button control here, XMouse button launcher. It is started. I have mine set as a manual startup type. When you first install the software, it will be set up as automatic, but it can be confusing if you forget that you're running it and you can't control the mouse as you normally can. Sometimes you forget that it's running, and so this eliminates that confusion by turning it on manually. So that's how you can get it running as a service. And what we're going to do is set it up with the Safari browser. So I have the Safari browser here pulled up with the Lexicon Tech public library pages, and I'm going to configure it to use the mouse as a 2-position switch. So I'm setting up the XMouse button control for the application Safari. It begins, when you first install it, it'll have a default, and the default is associated with nothing at all on all of the buttons, the left button, right button, the wheel actions, so nothing is actually being changed. You can change that as well. By clicking on any of these, you can scroll through the list and select what you want that button or wheel action to do. We're not going to do that, though. On the default, we're going to add a new one for Safari. So I'm under the Program Files directory, and I'm in the Safari subdirectory. I'm clicking on Safari.exe, which is the program that launches the Safari application. And now I'm going to set up the buttons. I'm going to set the left mouse button up for return as a simulated keystroke. So this would be the equivalent of pressing the return key on your keyboard. Setting up the right mouse button as a simulated keystroke for a tab, which is like pressing tab on your keyboard. And we can try that out. So we'll apply those changes and now go into Safari. And it's not working yet. I have to turn it on, so it's actually, right now when I click the right mouse button, it's doing a right click. If I press the scroll key, if I go out and come back in again, I have to actually exit and come back in, and I should, press the scroll key. It's not working. Try that again. Out, back in. Okay, and it came in with the application automatically running, so I guess I pressed the scroll key to deactivate it rather than to activate it. So right now, if I click on this, it doesn't act as a mouse, it's acting as, that's a return, and this is not configured to work that way, so it doesn't load the page. So I need to turn that off in order to get a page loaded. Scroll button, and load up the page that I want. I'm going to take child 1. And I can enable it now, because if I get to the load page button, I can get there. So now I'm going to show the mouse working this way. I'm using just the 2 buttons on the mouse to go through the page content. I want to eat.
I want to eat.
And then I can tab, 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 pressing that left mouse, actually the right mouse button because I have it upside down, but you can switch that.
I want.
Tab, tab, tab.
Apple.
Where that was a return. Tab, tab, and return.
I want to eat. I want apple.
So it spoke everything in the buffer. Now, you might find when you do this that you want to go in reverse. Let's say you pass the button that you want. In order to get back to it, you're going to have to tab all the way through, which can be tedious and take a lot of time. So what you can also do then, if you have a wheel or a third mouse button, a middle mouse button, you can set that up as a shift tab so that you can use it as a reverse key. So I'm going to do that now, adding a third switch, minimizing this. Oh, I have to turn it off first. It's not acting as a mouse, it's acting as a return and tab. So in order to close that, I had to use the scroll key. Now I right click and hit setup. Go to the Safari application. And now I want to turn the middle button, which is actually the wheel. The wheel acts as a middle button on my mouse. But some don't have a wheel, they only have a third button there. Shift, tab. Now, when I apply that, I go back in. Okay, it's not working, so I hit shift. It's still not working. Sure wish I understood that. Tab, tab. Okay, so I had to come in and leave and come in and leave, and now it's working. Now, if I press that middle button, I can tab forward using that right mouse button. I can use the wheel to reverse. So I'm pressing it and making a reverse out of it. I can clear that out. Now I get one more button I can press. I want to eat.
I want to eat.
Apple.
Apple.
Now let's say, oh, I don't want to clear it. I want to back up and speak.
I want to eat apple.
And that's all there is to it.